Hi, me again. Anyways, we're about April the 10th, and I'm doing a bunch of stories with a little music on the side, and just for my archives that Kelly can have, and little Evelyn, my granddaughter, and the ones I love. They ain't gonna last forever. We like to think we would, but I'm going downhill fast. Anyways, as most of you know, I had a great career in the jewelry business for 20 years. We'll go into that some other time. And then I created my own golf photography business when I moved to Whistler. Ended up working with a lot of high-end pros and traveling all over the United States, which was fantastic. And one event, I got so many great stories, which I'll relate to you over the next little while. And I got very lucky. I was able to work with Mr. Gary Player from South Africa. He's 87 now and just played in the Masters this past weekend. Not playing the Masters, actually played in the par 3, and he does the ceremonial tee-off, him, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson. And at 87, he was still running from tee to green on the par 3 course. I mean, he was unbelievable. 87, teed off the ball and then kicked his leg up in the air like a 20-year-old. He, out of all the pros I met and worked with, was the most exuberant, friendliest guy I've ever met, and smart and so nice to everybody. And here is a 9-time major winner. A lot of people don't realize that Jack had 18, Nicklaus, Tiger Woods has 15, and Gary Player's next with 9 major winners. 9 majors. Which is quite phenomenal, and I think Watson might be next with 8. Mickelson has 6, I think. But and he is known as the ambassador for the world of golf because he's from South Africa and he's traveled all extensively throughout the world golfing and probably won over like 150 tournaments worldwide or something. But real character. Anyways, I worked with him probably 12, 15 times. Over the course of about 8 years when I was doing a lot of high-end corporate golf events, which was unbelievable, going to these great golf courses all around the U.S. Anyways, I'll tell you more stories about him, but this one in particular, I remember we were at Glen Arbor, which is in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I was there twice, and it's actually a Gary Player signature course, which means that Gary Player, if it's a signature course, a Nicklaus or a couple's signature course, that means that the designers, are there way more visits than if it was just using their name and they did, a little bit of the design or whatever. So they're very hands-on if it's a signature course. Anyways, this is in the rolling hills of Greenwich, Connecticut, all the horse farms, like wealth, as much as I've seen, and I've been around. You're going down Post Road. I think it was Old Post Road from downtown Greenwich. You take way out into the country, and you're going by these big mansions, and out in front of the front yard, there's people playing polo on horses. Unbelievable. That's the kind of wealth. Anyways, get to Glen Arbor. Gary's there, and this was for SAP, did a lot of work for them. The big software company out of Germany. They endorsed Gary Player and Ernie Els, so I got to work with both those guys a lot. And I do 4 events a year, 2 with Gary, 2 with Ernie. Did that for 8 years, what's that, 32 events, which is fantastic. Anyways, and they would entertain like 24 of their top clients. And I would provide all the photography, beautiful leather binder after with shots of them with Gary and get Gary to sign it and all that kind of stuff. And then the salesman takes it into the client 3 weeks later and says, hey, thank you very much for attending our event. So anyway, I'm getting aside from the story. So this Glen Arbor is a beautiful golf course, beautiful clubhouse. So we went out and played for the day. Anyways, the story after the round, we're upstairs in this sumptuous locker room. It's all mahogany and rosewood lockers and gold and brass and just a beautiful plush carpet and everything. And it was only Gary and I out there. I don't know where everybody else was, but we were getting to go in and have a shower, right? And I'm stripped down naked. And I look down in the little hall of lockers, and there's a little area with a couch and a big TV, like an 80-inch TV. And I look and I see it's the Golf Channel on, and it's an old film of Gary Player. So I kind of walked down, I kind of got in behind the couch, which just covered my private parts, and I'm watching it, and it's Gary Player, and I wish I could remember who he was playing. I should have looked it up before I did this story. But anyway, it was like 1972 or something, black and white. And they're on the 18th hole, and Gary's got a one-shot lead. And I'm going, Gary, Gary. And he's down at the other end of the locker rooms, right? I go, Gary, Gary. He goes, what? I said, you got to come here. You got to come here. You're on TV. So he comes running down, and his balls are splashing against his thighs. He comes up, and we're both arms folded right in front of the couch, eh? And we're watching this, and we're watching it for like, a minute. And the guy hits his putt up, and he's about 30 feet from the pin. And Gary has got a 2-putt to win the U.S. Open in 1972, right? So Gary's starting to line up his putt, and Gary, who's standing beside me live, starts to walk away. I said, where are you going? Where are you going? Well, he says, I know what happens. He says, I 2-putt, he misses his, I won the Open. And I'm standing there scratching my head like, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you do know what happened, don't you?
On the 18th, Nagel's out of it. He couldn't make a putt after the second hole, and Player gave away nothing until the very end. Player carefully brings it up close. He pauses in a momentary prayer of gratitude. Gary Player has won the Open. He has played this very demanding course in rounds of 70, 70, 71, 71, and today, another 71. Gary Player, Open champion.
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot of those little stories. That's a good little one, though. Over and out for now. Bye.